This time on Grassroots Kitchen.
Hi, I'm SB Alfonso, welcome, and I've been a teacher for the last 31 years. I teach English language arts, and today I want to share with you my second love, which is the kitchen. What I'd like to make for you is what I call a chicken shrimp extremena. Alright, so for this dish we're going to need a couple of basic ingredients, and what I have here is the Spanish chorizo, and that's about a good 3 cups, thinly sliced, maybe just slightly thicker than you would slice pepperoni for pepperoni pizza. And we have 4 pounds of medium-sized shrimp. We have 5 boneless chicken breasts. I've chopped up a huge, the bigger the better, onion, an entire head of garlic. I've chopped up 1 sweet Italian pepper, and in here I have 1 green bell pepper, 1 red bell pepper, and I have 1 orange bell pepper, but you can use whatever color floats your boat. It looks really pretty when the dish is done, and the varying degrees of sweetness in the red, orange, or yellow really add to the dish. I also have here 2 small cans of tomato sauce. I have 1 heaping tablespoon, maybe a little bit more, of flour that I'll use later as a thickening agent, and some sherry, which you can apply to taste. And you are also going to add, in this recipe, you can really add your favorite spices. I've chosen to use a little bit of cumin and paprika for the smokiness, oregano, and salt and pepper to taste. And the wonderful thing about this dish is that you can use these ingredients or the spices to suit your palate. So when my husband and I first got married, there was a little restaurant in Hudson County on Bergen Line Avenue that we loved to go to on a weekly basis, and this is where I first heard of the extremena style dish. And they made theirs with veal, and it was just real good comfort food. And a few years later, my uncle and I decided to get together and cook. We both enjoyed cooking, so he said, let's make something together. So we took the same concept of the extremena, the big 1-pot meal, and we just added our own ingredients. We added Spanish chorizo, we added chicken and shrimp. And from there, we created our own version of the dish, and that's how it got started. Alright, so obviously the first thing we want to do is turn up the heat, and I'm going to put it medium. And I have in this pan already about a 1/4 cup of olive oil. So if you notice, if you look in my pot, I threw in a couple of little pieces of onion already. I want to get them simmering just a little bit more, and I'm going to throw in the onions, the chopped Italian pepper, and the garlic. The actual recipe or type of recipe comes from Extremadura, Spain. The name in itself means extreme outer limits, rough translation, and so the typical cuisine reflects a very generous character of the people. It's almost like the community coming together. It's characterized by a huge 1-pot meal. It's not expensive to make, easy to share. So when you think of an extremena, it's a 1-pot dish filled with all these wonderful, delicious, different flavors that come together to just explode in your mouth. Here we go. Let's start adding all this good stuff. Now you heard that sound? That's exactly what you want. The last thing you want is for the temperature to come down and lose the fizz. Alright, so next we're going to add our peppers. And if you notice, Now that I've put in the sweet Italian pepper, I chose, it's not completely green, I chose to pick my peppers when it's just barely starting to ripen. That way they're slightly sweeter. Now I'm adding my garlic, and if you notice, I'm letting a little bit of time elapse between the addition of the ingredients, and that's because every time you put in an ingredient, temperature gets a little lower, and I want to keep everything cooking at an even temperature so nothing burns, nothing overcooks too quickly. Here's where things get good. So we've added our onions, our peppers, and our garlic, and the garlic is just beginning to smell wonderful. And at this point I want to add my chorizos and let them just get in there and mix with everybody and start to render their fat, because the fat in the chorizo is amazing. It's just like cooking with bacon. Okay. And we just want to stir that around for a little bit and let all the onions and peppers get golden and soft and mushy, and then we'll just continue adding our goodness here. The wonderful thing about this type of dish is that you can make it as spicy or as mild as your taste buds crave. This is amazing. The chorizos are just rendering their fat, and it's mixing with the olive oils, and it's creating a wonderful, wonderful base of flavors for when we've added the rest of the stuff. Alright, so next I'm going to be adding the chicken. Now, I've lightly seasoned the chicken with some salt and pepper just to give it a little added flavor. Okay, and I'm going to add this to this and gently roll it around in there to coat all the flavors and let that cook down slightly. So what I'd like to do here is let the chicken cook about 3/4 of the way through, and that's going to take maybe about 10 minutes. And I want to show you the size of the chopped up chicken is really bite-sized. It's a nice mouthful. And the reason why I cut it this size is because when it cooks, it shrinks. So you really want to have bite-sized pieces of chicken so that you can enjoy it. When my friend Megan asked me to do this, she said, make something that has a story or a special meaning behind it. So I grabbed my cookbooks and I said, let me see what comes up. The first book I grabbed, a piece of paper fell out, and here's a piece of paper. I found that this was a dish that my uncle and I created, oh my god, well over 27 years ago, and I know it's that long because it was BC, before children. My chicken is cooked about 1/2 to 3/4 of the way through. It's tender. It's slightly pink on the inside, so that's okay. And I am going to add our shrimp. And if you notice it's like slightly pink, that's because I put a little hint of salt and some paprika into it just for the added flavor. So here it goes. And this is just an example of what an extremeña is. We want everything in here. Okay, and all these different flavors working together for goodness and deliciousness. At the beginning of the segment, I said that I would be using oregano, but you can use the Italian seasoning. This is the wonderful thing about this dish, that it's so spice friendly. You can add whatever you like. And right now, you can see I'm adding a nice heaping tablespoon all around paprika. And then just a hint of added smokiness. The paprika is smoky in and of itself. We don't want to overdo it. So this is about 1/8 of a teaspoon. And I'm just gonna just put some pepper into here. Alright, so next I want to just place all these wonderful peppers on top and move the spoon over so that you can see all these amazing colors. I want to pour my tomato puree and my tomato chunks over all of this. And here's the best part, we're going to add booze. I've chosen to add a little Marsala sherry. If you have pale dry sherry at home, that's fine too, whatever suits your palate. So this is just really a matter of taste, and this is what's going to create your sauce. So don't be shy. Okay, so now I'm gonna let this rest. Look at those colors. Oh my goodness. I haven't made this dish, I want to say, in over 15 years. Right before I serve it, you might want to just tweak the seasoning a little bit, a little more salt and pepper. For now, it's all good. So I'm going to lower the heat a little bit, I'm going to cover it up and let it work its magic. Alright, so this has been cooking for about a good 40 to 45 minutes. Everything is cooked down and ready to go. And I just want you to see, look over here. See this mark? This is where our originally where the liquid reached up to, and see how much it's reduced. So at this point, I'm just going to stir this up a little bit more, and I'm going to sprinkle some flour onto this nice and lightly. I don't want it to clump. I don't want it to be lumpy. And this is just a thickening agent for the sauce. Okay, I'm going to stir that slightly. This has been cooking for about 3 minutes now, and you can already see the consistency of your liquid starting to change and thicken a little bit, and that's exactly what we want. So I'm just going to give this a quick taste, and you know what? We're good. I wouldn't add a single thing to it. So I'm just going to let that cook for about 2 more minutes. I'm going to turn this off, and I'm just going to some lots and lots of parsley on here. That over steaming saffron rice, honey, it doesn't get any better than this. There's some chicken, and we got some chorizo there, and yes. And I want to grab a little spoon and a little more of that sauce for that bread. Oh my God, this is going to be so good. Wish you were all here. Just an extra sprinkling of parsley. Gotta have that bread for that sauce. And here we are. And we're ready. So I'm gonna step on over to the living room and enjoy this where the table is set. So come on, I invite you.